I'm Chandrasekhar, as you all know anyway. I mean, those who have seen the earlier videos. And I shall be talking about the ninth in the series of lecture of analysis of D charts, as they call them. Uh, In Sanskrit, we call it Varga Chakra, one and the same. There is no, Rashi is divided into 16 parts, including the Rashi chart itself is the first part, and so on. Here we take Rashi aspects by signs, and the planets within them also aspects similarly. So you are aware that cardinal signs aspect the fixed signs and vice versa, but both of them cannot aspect a sign just adjacent. In case of the cardinal Rashi, it would be next to it. In case of fixed Rashi, it would be just earlier. So, and dual size aspects. This is because uh, the planetary aspects are calculated, and the strength of planetary aspect is calculated upon the distance in degrees between the two houses, two planets, which is not the case in case of divisional chart. Of course, this is my opinion. Some people look at it from a different angle. I always think this is just a background before I start. Mm, that D charts cannot overrule what is promised in the natal chart. It can show different, can say shades of a particular area of that chart, and therefore we have to understand that unless Rashi chart itself does not promise, it will not be delivered by merely presence of certain planets in the divisional charts. So, as has been our practice so far, I shall start this one also, taking the natal chart of Warren Buffett, the great investment guy, one of the greatest, called, I think, Oracle of Omaha, working even now in his 90s. And the his natal chart will be on the left side of the screen, and the divisional chart will be on the right side. We will be looking at the D16 chart. That is, the Rashi is divided into 16 parts, and then each part is given some ownership, etc., etc. I think you are aware of that. I mean, generally, astrologers with a basic background of astrology generally go, when they want to go ahead, they want to know about the Varga charts or the divisional charts. We shall be looking at the D16 chart, which is called the ShoDashāMsha chart in Sanskrit. What is to be indicated by it? It indicates as the sage parasara Sukha Sukhasya Vijnanam Vahananam Tathaiva. He said it can be interpreted in two ways. It says happiness, unhappiness, science or education, and vehicles. I think it is a bit, the meaning could be a bit different. That is the way Sanskrit mm, is interpreted. So it could be happiness or otherwise of vehicles. The science of understanding it is to be seen from the D16 chart. Of course, this means it is related to the fourth house of the natal chart, of the divisional chart also, that we know it's the Lord and it's God. That is what how we analyze. We are so far following the same line that we will follow here, so that there is no scope of confusion. Neither of my trying to justify things which are known about well, they are all on the net. You can always see. So I shall start with uh, they say begin at the beginning. Fourth house also represents mother. Fourth house represents happiness. Fourth house represents your minimum level of education to get you some career, which in these days is at least graduation. Is maybe in future it will be post graduation, and so on and so forth that you know. But here, vehicles are specifically from the fourth house in the natal chart itself can talk about the education that person would have or would like to have. So I shall try to share the uh, Mr. Buffett's D chart. as I was saying, you know how I show it. That is what we are going to do. It will cover almost the entire screen. And as you know, I have also given how many numbers out of 20 each planet gets. Uh, the basics are very clear, pretty clear rather. That you know, planets with points between 5 and 10 give very less results. Some say zero results. I would not say. Every planet will have something to say about it, but it will be generally on the negative side. 10 to 15 is good, 15 to 20 is extremely good. So, this is the basic of how to understand what would be the strength of planet to give results in particular. Then we look at them from six Vargas, that is D charts together, is one way of looking at strengths. You consider all the seven together is different. Then all the 10 together is called the Dashavarga. And all 16 divisional charts together, each of them getting certain number of points and the planets getting in a different fashion. And they when they are combined, that is called the Varga Jabal. The strength derived from Vargas. How many Vargas? Showed us means 16. So here, uh, 16 Vargas we are looking at. This is where the ShoDashāMsha gets the maximum number of points. So, what we see, if we go to the left side of the chart, which is the little chart of Mr. Warren Buffett, you will observe it is a pretty powerful chart. Even the fourth house is aspected by Venus and Mercury. Mercury in exaltation, Venus in debility, but aspecting its house of exaltation. So he would have certainly uh, something really good about vehicles itself, uh, which is not very difficult to see. And there, as you can see, Jupiter, Mars are in the seventh house, Venus, Mercury in the fourth house, Lagna, Saturn. See, Venus and Mercury and Jupiter, Mars aspect the fourth house because these are dual rashis, which aspect, I mean, one dual rashi aspect the balance of it. Saturn also aspects the fourth power. Now we go to the D16 chart. What does it mean? Of course, with Venus, etc., it does say that he would have luxurious vehicles, etc. Saturn is also there, showing sometimes very economic with or low key vehicle sort of thing is a possibility. So, what these charts? Here we see the fourth bhava of the D chart, the fourth house of D chart is a is Cancer, owned by Moon. So Moon becomes its lord. House, you know, is the Cancer sign. Karaka is Venus. So we will see how they play out. We can see what is happening. Rahu, Ketu, and Mercury, all three of them are aspecting the fourth house. In addition to that, we can see that Jupiter is also aspecting the fourth. So this is certain. You know that Taurus is a fixed sign and Scorpio is a fixed sign, so they will be aspecting Kartikas. And that's fine. Of course, Jupiter will also be aspecting Mars, who is in the ascendant itself. But we are only dealing with the fourth house, fourth lord, and the car, which is Venus. And what is happening with Venus? Venus is in the 12th bhava, as you can see. He gets aspected by the great Saturn. Venus conjoins Moon and Sun. Sun happens to be, of course, Lord of the fifth house. And so his role is limited to, we can say, a higher form of vehicle, etc., because that is second out of the fourth. But we will not deal much in that. It comes into picture somewhere else. And yeah, some authority, etc., is represented, or kings are represented by a sun. And so what happens? We see that due to the fourth house being aspected by Rahu. Ketu, of course, one who gives up and also represents Maruti a lot in the deep 16 chart. And Rahu, Mercury, plus Jupiter also aspect. What can it do? A Saturn aspect to Venus. You can see here in the ShoDashāMsha Varga work, Sun gets 14.78, Moon 11.90, Mars 13.55, Mercury 14.78, Jupiter 10.95, Venus 10.38, Saturn 11.52, Rahu 11.67, and Ketu 12.28. So all of these planets are capable of giving good results. Of course, more strength, I would say, would be derived from Mercury and Sun. There's no doubt. So how will this play out? Now, if we look at it, with Saturn aspecting Moon, the fourth lord, and Venus, the extremes, Karaka for Vahan vehicles. Fourth house, is also considered to be education level. When he was a student, he used to have a Volkswagen, which is an economy type of vehicle, as you know. Is there anything else that we can find out? We can see, and now we go a step ahead. Later on, what happens? Rahu is aspecting the fourth house, as you can see very well for yourself. See, the Rahu has two factors. One is he is considered a foreigner or person of different culture. One. And another thing is he is always suspicious. He causes confusion in minds of others. But he is supposed to be suspicious. Mercury, of course, is a trader, so Mercury aspect anyway is supposed to be good. Jupiter and Mercury aspect in any bhava strengthens that bhava, which you are aware of. Here we are looking at Russia. Please remember. So initially, what he went for was the uh, vehicle of a, we can say, though he was earning well by that time, his father was he was also in investment and he was a successful person, and still he had a low key vehicle at the beginning of this. We see Saturn aspects the Karaka of the vehicle. So this is one. Now we go ahead. What happens? See, later on, he acquired a Rolls Royce, which is of a foreign make. He acquired it in 2006, so pretty late. Saturn also has something to do with doing things later. And he used it for 8 years. Still, that influence of Saturn is there on the Venus. He used to drive himself for quite some time. He used it for 8 years, which is unusual for a person with wealth uh, as much as Mr. Warren Buffett. Then he bought another one, again a Rolls Royce, so that kingliness comes out. Rolls Royce is supposed to be used by the ultra rich and the royalties. I need not tell you that. You can just draw your turn. It is a large vehicle, so Jupiter aspect the fourth house. There, Jupiter gives his own, quality of a large vehicle. Plus, see, every time he bought a vehicle, not when he was, of course, a student that time. So, whereas Saturn was more of a, but he was always a, what can I say? He did not like any show off. He had even that fourth house, his house, he had did not change his house also for so many years. Recently, I think he has changed. So a simple living sort of thing that gives him happiness, the sukha. And the wonderful part is about Rahu and Mercury, the trader, dealer, is he used to tell his daughter to go and buy a car because he thought if the car dealer knew that it was for Mr. Warren Buffett, he would charge him higher. So you see that investigating nature and other things and suspecting people motive are coming through very well. With Saturn, the planet for the downtrodden or the servants and all that, also making him cautious not to spend more money than necessary if he can avoid it. And so that was used as a face of Mr. Warren Buffett. That is very interesting. And the reason was knowing about trade. Mercury does aspect the fourth house, and this is how it played out for. So you can understand how things work out. Ketu, of course, representing Mars, does like to make a statement. And so Rolls Royce does make a statement as I understand. You also know that. And this is how the D16 played out in case of Mr. Warren Buffett. It is interesting. This is a small lecture. It is small because I want to keep it small, keep it focused. Only the fourth lord, Moon, Venus, the Karaka for fourth, and planets aspecting either the fourth lord and the Karaka or the fourth house itself will take us further to what we call the analysis of D60. We also find here that Mars is aspecting Jupiter. So large and a statement sort of thing. Mars does like a bit of show off, but he would not like great show off because of that Saturn there. So he went for a Rolls Royce, which is more of a sedate car, luxury car, there's no doubt about it, but no flashy thing about it. No gold plated Mercedes for Mr. Warren Buffett. And so you have it. I hope you like the lecture. Even if you have any negative comments, I don't mind. I like feedback from my listeners. You have been patient in hearing me out, and I thank you very much for your support. I'll try to unshare this screen and then uh, I shall take you a leave and wish you a very good. Thank you. I forgot to tell you, he also bought a jet airplane quite late in life. And there, the influence of Saturn and Venus, that is, Saturn aspecting Venus, Saturn is connected with anything gaseous, air, etc., and Venus luxury, again come through. And hardly many people know that he bought a jet.